So we line this up in here, and I'm gonna just get I'm gonna mark the size, the piece in here. I'm just gonna align it so it's fairly level, and then just scribe along. And when I cut it, I'm gonna cut this side of the line, so that if I do find it's slightly small, then I've got excess material to use still. So let's get So I've got a little bit more on this corner to take out, but that's a better thing. I think I'm also gonna just trim this edge so that it matches up. As you can see, this one is slightly at a slight angle, so I'm just gonna adjust that. So I've just adjusted that bit. So got a little bit to take off the top again. I'm just going to cut that out. Let's get in there slowly. Now just again at the top. A little bit more. That's looking pretty good. I might still want to adjust the angle of that, but what I will do now, again, I'm just going to chop a tiny bit more off the top. Shall I use my flap disc? That looks pretty good to me. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to set up the welder and just tack it in position, and then I can draw the lines for the swage lines and that sort of thing. It just allows me to get a more accurate measurement than holding it and that sort of thing. So I'll just start the welding roll. Helmet on. I'm just going to start at the top, I think. Sure that gas was on, but so gas is on now. So right, that's a bit shit. So it's not got any gas, and I also need to make that a bit flatter. So I'm just going to redo that. So I'm just going to align it up again. Just give it a nice little tack, and now it's actually flush. So I'm going to tack it here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tack it from one end and then work my way along so that I don't create a warp in the middle. So I'm just going to make sure that it's in the and then I'm just going to, so you can see that is going slightly down, so I'm going to need to run my disc in there to cut these back open and also give me more space to move the panel up. Now we can move this up. I think we need still a little bit more, but it's definitely better than it was. Maybe not. I think I'm going to tuck it once more down here, because that holds it in the position that I want. And then you can see there it's overlapping there, so I'm just going to run the disc again. Now we've got a nice gap there. Just going to tack it. So now I'm just going to mark the position of this, and then somehow just measure it down to the bottom. I know. So I'm going to use this as it's reasonably straight to then scribe the line for that, and then move it along again, and remembering to mark it on the inside of the corner, not the outside. So when I bend this, I think I'm going to make a slice here, so that then this panel can be brought up. Now this is probably going to change the shape of this panel a little bit, so I will need to shrink it just to give it a little bit of a curve, but not too much. So if I untack this now and take it back, then I can make these little bits here. Okay, so we've got our piece. We're just going to make the fold on the back. We are just going to mark the position of the tab for the back of the for the fold. So we're just going to use our ruler to help us just keep this nice and straight and even. And that's going to go something like that. So I'm going to use map gas again, just to warm it up and give us a hand with folding it round. So I'm just going to start with the pliers, just to gently bring it in. Press that line. And as you can see, that's completely flattening the panel, so we're going to have to warm this up to bring these two curves around, and then use the shrinker to make it all back to a curved shape. So we can bend that bottom bit, and then with our mat Okay, so that is getting there. I'm just going to dress this edge there out more, and just make the curve nice and tight. we've got this a reasonable 90. We're just going to leave it slightly open so that we can fold it over the underside piece. So I'm just going to put it through the shrinker again. We've already moved the dies around. So so we only really need a slight curve. We could probably trim this back a little bit to give us a bit more material. Well, sorry, a bit less material for the machine to shrink. So I'm just going to make it a little bit more square and give it just, I think, a slight bit more curve at the top, but not too much. So again, like the previous panel, we'll need to weld this bit together and dress it, and then we will weld all the bits together. So I will do that in the next video. Thank you for watching. Like and subscribe, and just give us feedback from what you think. This is how I'm doing this repair. Others may do slightly different versions, but I'm trying to make this in one piece and just make it as good as I can do. So thank you for watching, and see you next time. So we've got the inner sill piece that we need to shrink and stretch. So, and also we need to bend this tab down to be similar to like that. So I'm just gonna, with my pliers, bend this down like so, and then I've got a range of different dollies and hammers that I can use to get the shape right. So just so a lot of these bits will need heat and some bits won't. Like that way. So now we've got that to be a nicer shape. I think I'm just going to dress it a little bit more on that bit. And then I'm going to try and just do this bit a little bit, I think. I'm just going to use the edge of this stake to just make that line a little bit more prominent. Just done something. Now, as you can see, that has got quite flat now, so we need to put it in this. This is the shrinker stretcher. This is a great tool to have if you are doing metal work prolifically. So I'm just going to change the stretch ones over to the shrinking jaws, I've changed these screws to Allen head, as it is a good thing to have these tight. The old ones were like finger bolts. Now I'm also going to screw this down because it's not fixed, and it's going to not allow me to give the maximum amount of pressure. So if I need to push down that, it's just going to wander around everywhere. So I'm going to get my drill and a screw and a big washer. Screw it in like that. Let's get it a bit. And then yeah, that's going to just allow me to put a lot more pressure on the shrink. So I'm just going to put it in there and just gently pull it down. So that has got a little bit of a curve in there. I'm just going to address a little bit more of this, but that's pretty much it. Pretty good to me. So now I'm also going to have to weld a little piece in here and merge the two together. I probably could have done it in one piece if I'd left more material, but this just makes it a lot easier. So we'll go back to the car and check that, and then we will weld that piece in there, and also we will need to do this same process to the outside panel. So we will do that once we welded this in, because then we can put the outer sill on, mark it, and then roll it over. So we've got the inner sill piece that we need to shrink and stretch. So, and also we need to bend this tab down to be similar to like that. So I'm just gonna, with my pliers, bend this down like so, and then I've got a range of different dollies and hammers that I can use to get the shape right. So just these bits will need heat and some bits won't. Like that, right? So now we've got that to be a nicer shape. I think I'm just going to dress it a little bit more on that bit. And then I'm going to try and just do this bit a little bit, I think. I'm just going to use the edge of this stake to just make that line a little bit more prominent. Just done something. Now, as you can see, that has got quite flat now, so we need to put it in this. This is the shrinker stretcher. This is a great tool to have if you are doing metal work prolifically. So I'm just going to change the stretch ones over to the shrinking jaws. I've changed these screws to Allen head, as it is a good thing to have these tight. The old ones were like finger bolts. Now I'm also going to screw this down because it's not fixed, and it's going to not allow me to give the maximum amount of pressure. If I need to push down that, it's just going to wander around everywhere. So I'm going to get my drill and a screw and a big washer. Screw it in like that. Let's give it a bit. And then yeah, that's going to just allow me to put a lot more pressure when I'm shrinking. So I'm just going to put it in there and just gently pull it down. So that has got a little bit of a curve in there. I'm just going to address a little bit more of this, but that's pretty much it. Looks pretty good to me. So now I'm also going to have to weld a little piece in here and merge the two together. I probably could have done it in one piece if I'd left more material, but this just makes it a lot easier. So we'll go back to the car and check that, and then we will weld that piece in there, and also we will need to do this same process to the outside panel, so we will do that once we welded this in, because then we can put the outer sill on, mark it, and then roll it over. We're back at the car with our piece we've just shrunk, so we need to just put a little piece in there, and then we can put that there, and you can see the line that roughly lines up. We need to still dress that a little bit more, but we're getting very close. So yeah, I'm just going to cut these bits to go in on the edge. I'm using these Milwaukee snips to cut stuff if I don't need to use the grinder. So a good little tip that I've found is, if you so first of all, you can sort of get a gauge of how big a piece you need to cut. So then what I'm going to do is with my snips, just take off the it's a bit blunt. It's just snip around it, but leave this whole big piece of material, so that you can just hold it over and tack it in place, and then cut the back off. And also, if you need it to come out to a certain shape, you've got that excess material to use. Just going to pop the earth clamp on. Let's get a pair of mole grips. We've got that roughly in position. Let's get our... no, we need to push that in a little bit more. And we can just stick a little tap on there. And then just another little one. And back, take this off. Snip all this excess away, and we'll just finish with the sandwich. Make sure these are nice and flush. A little bit, there's a little hole in the middle, so we're going to deal with that. And then in order to get into this corner, we're going to use the disc sander, sorry, not the disc sander, a cutting disc, just to get in there. Last bit with the flap disc. all welded and dressed. You could keep going, but you'd just end up running out of material, so that's pretty good for me. The inside is nice and clean. We've not had to put any weld lines in here because we've folded the panel. So I'm going to put the earth back on the car and start tacking this into position. So I'm just going to get in a better position because it's a bit uncomfortable. So I'm just going to, like before, I think I'm going to tack it in the corner first. I'm just going to take a little nick off the end. Right. Try again. Grab that one. Got that tacked in most of the critical points. The height of this and this is the same all the way along, so that's pretty good. Actually, it comes out a little bit here, but we can dress that just by whittling that. So then I'm going to continue welding all of this in. I'll probably turn the heat down a little bit, and then I'll dress it all, and then we will hammer this bit in just a little bit, just so that it matches the original piece. So that's all welded along that top edge. I'm just going to dress the bottom and then weld the bottom bit there. Just going to dress that a little bit better. Now I'm going to get onto the grinding. Go over these little small bits with a couple of other tools. I've got a cutting thing and a roll-lock wheel. So we're just gonna, oh, and a die grinder. So we're just gonna go over those bits just to make them flush. So that's looking pretty good. There's a couple of little areas that I could go over again, but this is good enough. I'm just going to give it a quick wire wheel and then apply some red oxide primer. Just quickly, I'm just going to go over this corner here and just mark it. Just press it into that corner. I'm also going to bend the original bit above out slightly, and then I will tack those two in a second. So I'll just go get some paint. My primer, I'm using red oxide, and I've also got some hammerite crust. This is really good for getting into, you know, areas that you can't really get to. It does prolong the metal for quite a while. Obviously you're never going to really get rid of every single bit of rust, even with things like acid dipping your car. That still has its drawbacks. So we're just gonna dip it in a pot and just brush it into there and over basically just the whole panel, just in case, making sure to put it up into all the gaps like that, and that just gives it another layer of protection against moisture and everything like that. And I found that you can actually speed up, so normally it says you need to leave it to dry, but I've also found that you can speed up the process by just applying a bit of heat. And that will just highlight all the areas and make it sort of set into the material. So you can see where it's darkest, this is where the rust is, and where these bits sort of struggling to hang on, that's where, you know, the metal is good. So we'll let that just dry off, and then we will put a light coat of red oxide primer on here. Just making sure to fire plenty of primer into the sills, as you know, it's not going to hurt. And then we'll just let that set off. Just going to come and snip this a little bit here, and then pull it back together and tap that piece together. Now there is a little bit of a cut further up here, but what I'm going to do with that is, once I've put the outer piece on, then I will penetrate the weld enough so that it goes into that bit. And then we'll just flush that off with the flat disc. And as you can see here, it's a little bit high on the back, but that's a good thing, because once we put the outer skin on, then and it's all plug welded together, then we can use the flap disc just to bring this back. So we've got this piece in. I'm going to now cut this out and mark where I need to put the end tab. So before I do that, I'm just going to put a bit of rust killer on inside of this. As you saw before, it had a bit of corrosion on the surface, so we're just going to make sure it doesn't come back. And then we'll put some red oxide primer on there as well before we weld it, because we won't be able to do that once it's in. Thank you for watching. Make sure to like, comment and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you.